Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope you are all doing fine. Yesterday, we started talking about an interesting topic that I'm sure that most of you feels excited and interested to know about. We were talking about planets. So we started talking about the inner planets. Can anyone remind me, please, what do we mean by inner planets and why they are called like this? Well, I'm sure that most of you said that the inner planets are the four planets that are the nearest to the sun. Excellent. If your answer was that, then excellent. Yesterday we talked about the first two of them, which are Mercury and Venus. And today we are going to talk about the other two. And let's start with the Earth. Earth, our home, is the third planet from the Sun. It's also the solar system's largest rocky planet. Earth is the only planet that has liquid water on its surface, and we know that it's the only planet that have um, um, life on it. So actually, the planet of Earth um, is surrounded by an atmosphere which is different than Mercury. So the atmosphere of the Earth is what makes life possible on Earth actually, because it filters or it absorbs some of the sun's harmful rays. That's why it prevents the Earth from being so hot. In addition to that, this atmosphere contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Plants and animals actually use these gases that are present in the atmosphere in order to live. Like humans, for example, need oxygen and water vapor. Nitrogen and carbon dioxide is needed by the plants in order to make photosynthesis, if you remember. So, Earth is the only planet in the solar system known to support life due to the presence of water and the presence of this atmosphere. Concerning moons, the Earth has one large moon that we all know, and by definition, a moon is a natural object that revolves around a planet. So, in order for something to be called a moon, it should be revolving or rotating around any planet. So, this is the moon that the Earth has. We have only one moon. So, this moon takes approximately a month or accurately 27 days to revolve around the Earth. Because it revolves around the Earth, it's called a moon. Well, the moon has also no atmosphere. It has many craters. And if you remember from yesterday's lecture, craters are formed when the meteorites crash into the surface of the moon, as we find on Mercury, the planet Mercury, which has a lot of craters. Actually, what keeps the moon revolving around the sun is the gravity. So, this gravity that comes from the sun, this strong gravitational force, is what keeps all the planets on their orbits and what keeps the moons revolving around the planets, and especially the moon that revolves around the Earth, just as it keeps the Earth revolving around the sun. Okay. So, to move on to the last inner planet, which is Mars. So, most of us know Mars as being the red planet, and that is not surprising because if we look at the picture of Mars, we can see that it has a red color. Actually, this red color comes from the soil of Mars that contains iron oxide. So iron oxide is a material, is a chemical that causes the rusting. So it makes up rust. This reddish brown material is what makes rust, and this rusting is what gives Mars the red color. That's why it's called the red planet. Actually, Mars, unlike the Earth, has two very small and deeply cratered moons. So it has two moons rather than one. And it has an atmosphere. The atmosphere of Mars does not have enough oxygen for plants or animals to live. And the winds on Mars cause dust storms. So if we looked here, this is the land uh, or the surface of Mars. And actually several probes have landed on Mars. That's how we know a lot about it. And in 2004, two robot rovers, which are called Spirit and Opportunity, landed on Mars. And these rovers gathered information and sent them back to Earth. Scientists have used the data to learn about the rocks and the soil on Mars. The scientists also found evidence that Mars has frozen water and that it once had liquid water. So that was really interesting to know that not only Earth has water, Mars has like frozen water, and they knew that it once had liquid water. So after we're done with this lecture, I want you please to answer questions 7, 8, and 9, which are in your book page 283. So to sum up our lecture today, we talked about the last two inner planets, which are Earth and Mars. We learned that Earth has a lot of reasons to make living things be able to live on Earth. One of them is the atmosphere, the presence of atmosphere that has some gases that are essential for the living organisms, in addition to the fact that the Earth has water on it, which makes life possible on Earth. The Earth has only one moon, and this one moon needs 27 days in order to rotate around the Earth, and the gravity is what causes or keeps the moon rotating around the Earth. Now, finally, the last inner planet that we talked about is Mars. We said that Mars is called the red planet, and this is because of its red color that is gotten from the presence of iron oxide on the surface of Mars. And we learned that several probes have landed on Mars. In 2004, two robot rovers, which were called Spirit and Opportunity, landed there. And scientists learned a lot about Mars, especially that Mars has frozen water and that it once has liquid water. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. After you are done, I want you please to solve the questions I circled for you on this page, 7, 8, and 9. Send them as a message on Classera. And please, if you have any question, you can type it or record it at the discussion group, and I will be ready to answer it directly. Have a nice day, my ladies.